just to give you an overview of who buys RECs. Basically, every purchaser of renewable electricity in the United States is buying a REC. So utility companies that have to comply with state renewable energy purchasing requirements or renewable portfolio standards do that by showing that they've bought renewable energy, and the renewableness is documented by showing that they've purchased RECs. Fortune 500 companies that buy renewable electricity are buying RECs. The U.S. EPA, the U.S. Air Force, and many other federal agencies buy renewable energy certificates to demonstrate their compliance with an executive order that orders federal agencies to use renewable energy. Homeowners that buy renewable energy from their utility through utility green pricing programs are effectively buying RECs because the utilities have to buy RECs on behalf of those customers to prove that they're delivering renewable electricity. And finally, power market traders. RECs are traded in wholesale markets just like electricity is, and there are many parties who buy and sell RECs in large quantities every day. Basically, RECs are the foundation of how renewable energy is bought and sold in the United States. I'd like to transition now to talk a little bit about the Green Energy Certification Program. This is a program that's administered by my organization, the Center for Resource Solutions. It's a consumer protection program for renewable energy products. We started back in 1997 in California during the early days of electricity deregulation when consumers were first allowed to start choosing what type of electricity they buy. The program's expanded over the years to cover all 50 states and parts of Canada, and we certify the majority of the voluntary renewable energy sales in the United States. Greenie is a necessary program because buying renewable energy is not something that a consumer can tell if they've actually received what they paid for. Renewable energy and renewable energy certificates are intangible environmental products that are largely unregulated. There was a need when this market first started to define what is a quality renewable energy product and to have an organization that would ensure that consumers were well informed about what they were buying and also to ensure that consumers were actually getting what they paid for. And these are really the goals that were set out when Greenie Energy was first started. Greenie Energy has three main functions. The first is to define what are high-quality renewable energy products. And we've developed a standard, the Greenie National Renewable Energy Standard, that's overseen by an independent governance board. The board has many members on it. I've listed a few key members here on the slide, but it also includes the National Renewable Energy Lab, the Southern Alliance for Clean Energy, and also other experts who have been working in the field of electricity markets and renewable energy for years. The board basically sets policy for the Greenie program. They decide what counts as renewable energy, how much renewable energy a consumer should buy to make it a meaningful purchase, what types of information consumers should be given before they make a purchase of renewable energy or REC so that they're fully informed of what they're spending their money on. I also have on here the logo for the ISEAL Alliance. ISEAL is an international organization that stands for the International Social and Environmental Accreditation and Labeling Alliance. They basically set best standards for voluntary certification programs like Greenie that operate nationally and internationally. So we often describe them as the certifier of the certifiers. CRS is a member of ISEAL, and we follow their code of good practice, which basically requires us to follow best practices in standard setting and involvement of stakeholders in how policies are developed for the program. The second major function that Greenie provides is to ensure that there's clear ownership and there's no double counting of renewable energy attributes or RECs. One of the most important things that we do is to make sure that when people buy a Greenie certified renewable energy product, that renewable energy is not being counted towards any state mandate or renewable portfolio standard. More than half the states in the United States have an RPS, and one of the Greenie requirements is that when you as a business or consumer buy renewable energy, you're not buying something that was going to be required by the state anyway. What you're buying is something in addition to the minimum requirements of the state. And in that way, voluntary purchases are helping to build the market and drive demand for new renewables. Another important function of Green E is what we call verification. So every year we require an independent audit of all certified renewable energy and REC transactions in our program, from the generator all the way to the end-use customer. So we assure that there's a clear chain of custody of ownership of the renewable energy certificates, from the generator all the way to the business or the household that buys the REC at the end of the day. We've also been heavily involved in the development of renewable energy tracking systems. Currently, there are REC tracking systems that cover the entire United States. Tracking systems are basically a bank and mint for renewable energy certificates. They get on a monthly basis generation meter data from all the renewable energy facilities that are participating in the tracking system and create a renewable energy certificate with a unique serial number for each megawatt hour generated. So with tracking systems, there's a very high reliability and pretty much a guarantee that there will not be any double issuance of renewable energy certificates. The third and final main function of the Green E program is to monitor sellers. When a seller of renewable energy or renewable energy certificates signs up to participate in the Green E program, they agreed to abide by the Green E Code of Conduct, which sets minimum standards for what the company must disclose to its customers and how it must disclose that information. Much of Green E's requirements are based on guidelines that have been issued by the Federal Trade Commission and also the National Associations of Attorneys General, which guide how companies must speak about environmental and green claims. And we make sure that the companies that participate in Green E Energy are abiding by those rules and providing full and accurate disclosures to consumers before they make a purchase. We also check all other marketing materials that sellers are using, such as their print ads, TV and radio, anything they put up on the internet, to make sure that their information that they're providing to customers is accurate. A simple example of this would be if you go to a REC seller's website and they have a picture of solar photovoltaic cells on their website, we make sure that they're actually selling RECs that are from solar facilities, so that they're not misleading the consumer about what they're receiving. The bottom line is that Green E Energy provides validation to businesses and consumers that they are getting a high quality product and that they're getting what they pay for.